Have you ever felt like you gave up way too much of yourself and literally compromised yourself, your needs, and your desires just so you can keep everyone else happy? People pleasing, right? Or maybe you felt resentment towards your friends, your family, or your colleagues, but totally showed a different emotion like smiling and faking happiness. It doesn't feel good to anyone. We're talking about relationships today, but not with others, with yourself. And this one comes just in time for the holiday season, when you're most likely to compromise and hide your true feelings around others. This is a tricky time of year, so I'm going to give you some great tips today. I'm Kristen Tinker, food addiction and weight loss expert. Now, one of the greatest reasons why my clients crave food, overeat, overdrink, emotionally eat, and struggle to lose weight permanently is this constant nagging struggle not to hide true emotions, but not necessarily to other people. The issue comes when you hide true emotions from yourself. These emotions are feelings that you are totally unwilling to feel. Now let's be honest, nobody likes to feel anger, resentment, rage, frustration, disappointment, rejection, or more. Yet those are the emotions that drive your cravings, and many people will even claim that they never feel those emotions. That might be true, but emotional eating, overdrinking, and overeating are the direct result of your total unwillingness to feel hard emotions. To crush your cravings for permanent weight loss, you must feel all of your emotions. And you can click the link that I've included to access my free Crush Your Cravings online program that runs year-round. Now, this unwillingness to truly feel your emotions and to hide them from yourself happens because when previous life experiences have taught your brain and your body not to feel safe with those full range of emotions, you're going to hide. So we end up overeating, overdrinking, emotionally eating, and using other addictive behaviors. That could be shopping, exercise, porn, binge, watching TV, and even more, just to buffer and numb out the feelings that we want to keep hidden from ourselves. Today I'm going to give you the easy answer, although it's not totally easy, to start dealing with hard or even happy emotions that you're buffering or numbing out to use food, drinks, and more. The answer, the straight answer, is in self-care. But I'm not talking pedicures, massages, and the usual suspects. Those are not self-care, and I've talked about that in other videos. Instead, it starts with emotional intimacy, which means you apply the exact same steps that you're using with other relationships with friends or family, and then you use that same process with yourself. This will help you to develop a healthy and secure relationship with yourself, which is so important in this holiday season, so you're not stressed out, feeling overstretched and compromised, only to find yourself heading right back to that buffet table or late night snacking in the fridge when you really just wanted to stay on track with your healthy eating plan. So let's dive in. In building relationships with others, we traditionally apply 3 modes of conversation or communication. One is informational, where we just know knowledge about a person, like Susan. She's my neighbor. She's a veterinarian and a single mother of 2 children. Next is the personal level, which is when we start to share in the warmth of human connection and we assign meaning to the information that we know about a person. For example, Susan is a nice neighbor. She always is willing to help. In fact, she's a respected vet and an excellent parent. Number 3 is a relational level where we experience the other individual by using our own situations and our feelings to apply that to the other person and how they're moving through any given situation. For example, Susan must feel very stressed when she shares how little time she has to own her vet clinic and to be a parent too. So I would empathize with her. I would feel her pain. See, that's relational. But since this is with yourself, it's really less relational and more experiential. Now, these are also the same 3 communication modes that are required to build self-trust and self-intimacy, even self-love, which is called emotional intimacy. And it's the foundation of your permanent health, happiness, and weight loss. It's also the secret to a successful holiday season, so that you emotionally relate to yourself, using empathy and compassion rather than self-loathing, and using food and drinks to numb out your pain of having to people please or saying yes when you mean no, doing too much and getting stressed out. This work to understand how you're showing up in the world, and when you are not emotionally being fully present in your body, to experience the entirety of yourself, will help you become more aware of your inner dialogue, and it will move you to a deeper relational level with yourself, to be intimate with yourself, in which you are fully present 100% of the time, and you stay true to what you want. This means you stay true to yourself and your discernment, when it's okay to act in a way that is totally different from how you typically present yourself in the world. What I mean by that is you are willing to act in a way that totally contradicts the informational and personal states, those first two relational ways of communicating and interacting with others, and then you're willing to take that 5% that contradicts what you're sharing with other people. For example, you might think of yourself informationally and personally as a nice person who is a parent and is kind and giving. And in my world, that sounds like this. I'm a food addiction and weight loss expert who is a mom of 3, and I love to help others. But what happens when I get angry or stressed out and I want comfort? So I head to the kitchen and I overeat, or I emotionally eat. How can I still be a food addiction and weight loss expert? Do you see how it contradicts? Now, what happens when you're not kind and giving to your family, maybe this holiday, because you get triggered with your mom's reminding you that you never make time to come visit, or you always hurt your mom's feelings when you don't come help at the house on the weekends? You get guilt tripped, right? What happens when being a kind and giving person, just to stay true to yourself, would violate you as a person, like giving up your weekend when you desperately needed sleep and self-care just to people please your mom? And you know that maybe not giving enough, you're never going to reach that stage. Now, in this case, you would be bearing the part of yourself that is not kind and nice to lower your boundaries, lower your self-care needs, when you needed to create and honor your own boundaries instead of people pleasing your mom, who, again, may never be pleased. So instead of feeling your mom's disappointment, because maybe you can actually never give enough, you hide that discomfort from yourself by emotionally eating. See, that's the part of yourself that you hide. That's the part of yourself that you probably are using lots of willpower, white-knuckling your way through life, compromising your own feelings, and using a whole lot of logic to reason with yourself and justify or lie to yourself about why you have to be kind, people-pleasing, and giving, lowering your boundaries just to keep mom happy, and probably to everyone else. You overeat and feel exhausted with life because you're constantly people-pleasing. The problem is that this is not being fully present with your true emotions, choosing logic, intellect, and basically lying to yourself by having no boundaries for other people. Ultimately, this causes you to buffer your feelings so you don't have to see them, you don't have to deal with them. It's a mind over matter or mind over body moment. And then rather than using explicit, healthy, and secure communication to say no, you just keep people pleasing to stay in that ego state of being a kind and giving person. In other words, you resist intimately experiencing your own life and you stay in that safe territory. Now, the only way to solve this is to make your ultimate goal to notice the times when you hide yourself, that 5% that contrasts the ego state of being kind and nice. But you stay fully present with yourself without distorting your perception, or without changing the situation or the person, or using those self-sabotaging behaviors. To stay fully present means you do not try to buffer or numb out your emotions, nor do you try to change the situation so that you just don't feel uncomfortable. I hope you see where I'm going. This can be accomplished by getting curious about what's really happening moment to moment as you engage with others in life situations, and most of all, notice when you feel uncomfortable with your emotions and get curious. When faced with painful or overwhelming emotions, most people work to change the situation or change the internal experience with compulsive actions like overeating, drinking, drugs, nicotine, porn, sex, shopping. See, these are all adaptable survival patterns used to distort and soften our perception of a situation or how we perceive ourselves. This impactful work to build self-intimacy and emotional intimacy will help you get to know your own avoidance patterns, where you hide painful or uncomfortable emotions from yourself, so that you can be authentic and maintain your identity by using boundaries and self-trust. Permanent health, happiness, and weight loss requires you to integrate feelings and intellect, so you can fully sit with yourself and understand how you're moving through your day, moment to moment, and not resist the discomfort that you're experiencing in any given moment. In these situations, you sit with uncomfortable feelings. You welcome them in as if they were your best friend. Then you use discernment to know when it's okay and actually required to feel and act in a way that contradicts your ego state, because you protect who you are. In other words, you know when to keep boundaries in place to protect your identity as a healthy, happy person, even if you're met with rejection, even if you disappoint others, even if it makes others feel disappointed in you, to see yourself in a different light. When you become comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you do not use maladaptive survival responses that sabotage your life, or any other buffering pattern like fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, you don't get into any of that. You fully show up for yourself with true self-care at the 100% level. This is where you create true self-intimacy, and you develop self-trust, self-belief, self-love. You quit talking so bad to yourself, and you lay the foundation to stay on track in life, no matter what, for permanent weight loss. And so when you find yourself compromised by getting off track, and life feels too busy, too overwhelming, which is a big trigger for most people to bury emotions and to go into unhealthy survival responses, please give yourself a pause. That's the first step. This is the time that you listen to your thoughts when you're grabbing food you don't really want to eat, and you ask yourself, this is where you get curious, step 2, why am I eating right now? What am I truly feeling? What is the fear and resentment that I'm burying? And then you get accurate with your thoughts by pushing back on them. So that's step 3. Now that might sound like, is this really true that I want to eat that candy bar? Is it really true that the candy bar will help me feel better? Will it solve my problems? So you get curious and you push back on that thought. Why am I really feeling stressed and overwhelmed? What was I feeling when I took on too much, and why? Did I speak up for myself, and did I state my needs explicitly as a healthy person? Sit with yourself and show up like a friend who does not run from your emotions. Use empathy to fully experience yourself, which means you tune into your difficult emotions, not just the good ones, those difficult emotions that you usually hide from yourself, and you don't use judgment, guilt, or shame. And then use the experience as an opportunity to learn and to grow, to get to know yourself. This is an ongoing skill. It does take practice and patience, but it's worth the effort, because this is truly what creates long-term health, happiness, and weight loss. It's all connected. So if you're ready to kickstart your holiday health, because you can lose weight even in the holidays, just click the link that I've included in this email to book a call so that you can see how I can help you in my Crush Your Cravings program. It's free, or to do a private coaching program too. So you can start the new year feeling your personal best and fully showing up with yourself. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you next week.